Coming to you live from our studios here at the Grand Memorial House. This is The State, and today we're going to explore another topical issue on the train of public discourse. My name is Paa Kwesi Schandorf. We're taking a breather. When we come back, we're going to outdoor the matter on board for this afternoon. Don't go anywhere.
Sorry, not sure.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Get ready for a transformational morning experience.
Sorina Shrine is here to build our spirituality, mental and physical well-being.
Through positive, inspiring actions and stories.
We bring you exciting activities and conversations that develop us as a people and as a nation.
We take a look at the trending issues in Ghana and the rest of the world.
And we also review the impacting stories from our local newspapers.
Every morning, we bring you stories of hope, change, and renewal.
We empower you through the Word of God and provoke you to live the purposeful life destined for you.
Join us, Anita Kwako
and the Reverend 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘𝗃𝗓𝗓, Monday to Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we take you on an inspiring journey, live and exclusively on WTV.
You may also join us on Facebook at WTV Ghana and on YouTube at 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗃 Ghana.
Sorry, not Shrine.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Sorina Shrine is brought to you by
Danwell Insurance, Multi-Credit Savings and Loan,
and the Methodist University Ghana.
It's that time of the year again when the Methodist Education Unit allows all Methodist schools to experience Methodism. It's the launch of the Methodist Education Week 2024 on the theme Discipleship, Growing into Christian Maturity. Activities lined up for the celebration is as follows. Tuesday, the 7th of May 2024 is the Connectional launch happening at the Wesley Towers Auditorium at exactly 10 a.m. Wednesday, 8th May 2024 is the launch and talk on the theme In All the Regions and photo exhibition. Thursday, 9th of May 2024 is competition on drama, preaching, singing, and reading. Friday, 10th May 2024, time with PTA, SMC, increasing parental support in education and combating truancy. Saturday, 11th May 2024, cleanup exercise. Sunday, 12th May 2024, Thanksgiving and fundraising in all societies in aid of renovation of our schools. Speaker is the Presiding Bishop, Most Reverend Dr. 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗘𝗏𝗪. Chairman, the Director, Tertiary Education, Bishop-elect Accra Diocese, Very Reverend Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 Mr. Stephen Kweku Owusu. It's the Methodist Education Week Celebration 2024.
All right, it's another Wednesday afternoon and you're welcome to another exciting edition of The State. Maybe I should not even say it is exciting because this particular episode is going to focus on an issue that many Ghanaians are not exactly happy with, and that has gotten to do with the recent exit of foreign business outfits going out of Ghana. A number of them have expressed concerns that, well, the current business climate in Ghana is not favoring them, reason for which they have exited. And this afternoon, we're going to dilate excessively on that particular subject matter. But before we go ahead, we want to brief you exactly on what has been happening in recent times. It's now time to serve you with the W briefs, where we're going to now tell you why we are here and the need for us to have this particular conversation. Now, Ghana over the last 2 years has seen the exit or the announcement or the intended exit of a couple of foreign companies that previously were operating smoothly in our jurisdiction, and all of them have cited very similar reasons. Actually, these companies operate across the food delivery, stationery, supermarket, sports betting, and beauty care industries. Generally, the scope of their operations cuts across all business as it were outputs, and all of them have been exiting. Quite interesting. South Africa's largest retailer, we're starting with South Africa's largest retailer, The Game, that departed from the Ghanaian market in 2022. So everywhere to do the count, we're going to start with The Game. They left Ghana in 2022. Now, apart from them, 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘, a beauty care company that started business in Ghana in November 1993, also announced its withdrawal from the Ghanaian market in 2023. So The Game left in 2022, and then 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 also exited our jurisdiction in 2023. Now, at the latter parts of 2023, precisely December, Nivea, a famous skincare brand, discontinued its marketing campaign also in Ghana. So that is count number 3. So we've done that of The Game. We've also seen 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 and then Nivea. Now, a renowned pen production company recently took a decision to relocate its relocate to Ivory Coast due to the prevailing economic challenges in Ghana. This is big. I mean, all of us back in primary school, we all knew the big brand. It was the toast of every primary school boy or girl. But if you care to know, they are no longer here in Ghana. Then, in the same December 2023, 𝗟𝗵𝗂, a Pan-African e-commerce platform, revealed the closure of its food delivery service here in Ghana. Where are we now? I think we are on count number 5, I suppose. Right, I think we're on count number 5. So that is 𝗟𝗵𝗂 for you. After 𝗟𝗵𝗂 is Bet365. If you're a punter or somebody who likes to bet, I'm sure you did not forget this particular one. A leading global online betting company announced its withdrawal from the Ghanaian market, signaling the end of an era for loyal patrons. And when we're talking about loyal patrons, it's basically the boys and girls who like to stake bets. Tonight, by the way, there is a crunchy match between Bayern and Madrid. If Bet365 were around, I'm sure you would have seen some odds from them, by the way. Then in March 2024, Unilever Ghana announced the relocation of its tea production operations from Ghana to Nigeria. That one too was epic, and that was just in March of this year, 2024. I think we are done with that particular one, March 2024. That was when we saw Unilever, the Lipton production, leaving. Then in April 2024, this same year, 30th of April, Glovo, a prominent food delivery platform, also announced its decision to end operations in Ghana, and this came through as of 10th May 2024. I beg your pardon, operations ended, yes, in Ghana on 10th of May 2024. Sorry for that glitch. We are continuing, and the next to have come through is one that currently, as we know, they are actually debunking the fact that they are not leaving. But let's look at some of the reasons that all of them have attributed I've explained as the basis for their exits. High cost of doing business has been implicated. The depreciation of the local currency has also been noted as part of the reasons, as well as exorbitant tax impositions. Inflation, of course, cannot be exempted from the list of guilty factors, as well as regulatory hurdles. So there's high cost of doing business, there's depreciation of the local currency, which of course is the Ghana cedi. And then much recently, the president of the Ghana Food and Beverages Association, he has been speaking on the matter, and the point he's been making effectively is that apart from the exit of the foreign outfits, there are also a number of local companies, all of whom have actually collapsed. So that is the president of the Foods and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, John Awuni. He says that the situation is more alarming than has been reported. So the question we are asking this afternoon is quite a basic one. Why are we in this situation? Because of course, when it happens, the ordinary Ghanaian suffers. The man who is employed by Unilever or employed by Glovo, he would have to go home, and assuming he were a breadwinner, you can imagine the circumstances. We're taking a breather. When we come back, my guests are ready. We're going to delve into the fine details. Don't go anywhere. All right, thanks for your patience. It's now time for us to delve into the substance of the conversation that we've been advertising since last night, and that specifically has gotten to do with the exit of foreign businesses from our local jurisdiction. It's a cause for concern because it has a ripple effect on, first of all, the local business market. Citizens are also affected, and the business community is not in any way exempted. Joining us via Zoom is Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘. He is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Doc, we are happy that you're able to connect with us. How is life generally? It's been a while.
Everything is okay, and I just traveled to Iran, and I came back just a few days ago. And a country under sanctions is doing marvelous. They are almost self-sufficient. We can do everything here.
That's quite interesting.
Apart from that, everything.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll get into the fine details very soon. So that was Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘, the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, bringing us up to speed with, first of all, how it's faring, and then he was tripping into events outside of our local jurisdiction, specifically Iran. Joining us all the way from Belgrade in Serbia is 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 who is an international policy analyst. Mo, we are happy to have you this afternoon. How is the going?
Thank you very much, Schandorf. Alhamdulillah, things are going quite well. Today is a bright day, so I mean, we are alive and we're grateful.
All right, thank you very much. And then joining us in studio very soon is the secretary of the Ghana Food and Beverages Association. He'll be with us in a jiffy. But I think we can proceed with the discourse. Actually, let me come to you first, Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘. You definitely are concerned. I mean, in your opening commentary, you did, you were even attempting to strike a comparison with Iran and, things happening outside of our jurisdiction. But really, what is the impact, the broader impact on the Ghanaian market if all of these things persist, and even the ones that have occurred in the past?
Yeah, we have been saying that the business that we do, we do it in competition with the rest of the world. So it is important that once we seek investors, and once we, even as Ghanaians, once we are doing business, we have to be competitive so that we can be meaningful in the competition that we are doing with the rest of the neighboring countries. And so that is very important. And that is what we are lacking now, because the cost of doing business here, the taxes that we pay are so many, and they are very worrying, because then it's edging us out of competition. And that's why your topic, I found it necessary also to talk to, because why are these companies exiting, as your topic demand? I hope maybe I'm in line if I start talking in that length. These foreign companies, they all seek greener pastures. Like even Ghanaians will seek greener pastures outside the country, go to America, go to elsewhere. If there's a country that is booming, that's where all investors go. So if they see the indications getting wrong, then the signal says that they have to move away. And also, this one also teaches us a lesson that we should do everything humanly possible to groom the local businesses
Market,
because come what may, the local businesses will not leave the shores of Ghana, because this is our home. We will not leave Ghana for anybody. We'll make Ghana. But these people, they come and take the best, and when the times are bad, they leave you. And so it should be a great lesson for us. That's what we have been saying, that the commanding heights of the country should be given to the indigents. And so this one is a clear example, because we are in a crisis, yes, but it doesn't demand that companies that have come and make best use of our resources, gotten the profit and all that, should all run away. But that also remind me of the fact that it is not only this time that because maybe we are in hardship that companies are exiting. No, there are so many instances, even in good times, that most of these companies have exited,
right?
Because they have taken advantage of some exemptions, facilities that have been given to them. They use it to their advantage, and when it's time for them to pay the legitimate taxes and all that, and they go. So this is not the first time. So we should be able to weigh it. Otherwise, we will just be making. Let's go back and see every year on year, how many companies leave and the reasons for which they also leave. Then we are being scientific here.
Right. Right. Thank you very much for your opening thoughts. Definitely would expand, those perspectives. But Mo, let me come to you. You are outside of our local jurisdiction, and so I'm sure that you have a better feel of the business climate there. Now, from what you know, would you conclusively say that doing business in Ghana, because you have lived in Ghana before, I mean, prior to now, and so comparing the two jurisdictions, I mean, the world outside of Ghana, would you say that indeed the business climate in Ghana is particularly harsh?
Well, thank you very much, Paa Kwesi. If you look at what is happening in Ghana currently, and you juxtapose that with other markets, you would be very dishonest if you say that our current conditions are ripe for business growth. Because if you look at markets in the global scale, we have the emerging markets, Then we have the frontiers. Then we have the successful markets, that is the likes of the US economy, Canada, Japan, and the likes. Then you have the emerging markets like China, Brazil, Nigeria, and Argentina, and the likes. Then you have countries like the frontiers, countries that are a little below the emerging markets that are trying to come up. And like Doc frankly said, countries that they deem as good destinations, as in to see greener pastures there. In the 2000s, you could say that Ghana or West African countries were very ripe for business growth because we had just moved away from many of our dictatorships, moving into sustainable democratic dispensations. And so the economy was beginning to take a liberal turn. And so most companies and most multinational corporations were coming in. And so at that point in time, our market was ripe for foreign investments. But over the years, if you look at what has happened with the number of times our markets have crashed domestically and also internationally, and you look at what is happening today, I mean, the symptoms are clear. Like you mentioned earlier on, exchange rate is high. There's high cost of doing businesses in Ghana, especially with regards to the taxes corporations pay. You look at the exchange rate, which is one of the most important factors when considering to invest in a particular country comes to play. And one of the most important things is also that you look at the wage gap within that country, how much people are earning per month vis-a-vis how much they will be able to spend. And so we are talking about consumer dynamics here. And so if you look at the current Ghanaian market, how many people will be able to consume some of the goods that these multinational corporations are producing? So even if operational costs are high, but we have an equilibrium where people earn decent wages to be able to level up with the expectations of these corporations, I think not most of them would have left because they will still be raking in profit. But generally, if you look at the factors and you consider what is happening, it is not out of the ordinary to say that the most important thing right now driving the economy or driving the business mindset of these corporations is there is general uncertainty in the market. And that is what every business is looking out for. When there's uncertainty in the business market, business people are scared. And I'm sure Doc will collaborate this because nobody knows what is actually going to happen, especially we are in an election year moving forward to the next year. Anything is possible. And so if the uncertainty in the market is very high, businesses that want to play it safe would probably say that they are moving to other markets that, are in line with their, they can coin up whatever word that they want to use. But the most important thing is that there's uncertainty in the market, and that is why some of them are leaving. Domestic corporations can suck up the pressure because they have a lot of stake in the economy. But if you look at multinational corporations, most of them do not have direct stakes in the local market. And so they do not really find the need to probably soak up the pressure. Domestic companies can, because they are also looking at the future, perspective. But for the multinational corporations, they can leave at any point in time they want. If for them, it's strictly business. They are not really attached to the country in any way, shape, or form. Right. For them to probably still being in the market if the business environment is uncertain for them. And so basically, I think it's not out of the ordinary to say that the current conditions in the Ghanaian market is very dire and something must be done about it.
Right. I think that point is lucidly expressed. The fact that the current climate is not the finest, subsequent to which, some of these foreign outfits are exiting. But let me come back to you, Doc. You were making the point about the fact that given the consistency of this development, we would have to start, making our shores and making our TEFs more convenient. I'm tempted to ask, if it were not convenient, why would all these foreign companies want to pitch camps in our local jurisdictions in the very first place? Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc. Are you still connected? Hello, Dr. Bin, could you please unmute your microphone so that you respond?
Hello?
Yes, Doc, we can hear you loud and clear now. I was making the point that you had earlier indicated that there is a need for us to, as it were, fertilize our turf here so that we are able to grow our indigenous businesses. But I'm inclined to, react in this manner. If our turf were not fertile, why would they even be coming in the very first place?
Yeah. I think sometimes we overdraw the importance of this foreign direct investment. Of course, every country needs it. But if you also overlook the potential of your indigents, then when it happens that they are leaving you, then of course you find yourself to blame. Of course, the conditions in Ghana have been relatively very conducive for attraction of foreign direct investors. Maybe until recently, where things have become much difficult, that they are also feeling the heat. But I know that other companies which are also foreign based are still having the confidence. The whole thing is about confidence. And then the turbulence that we are facing now, if some of them can face it and survive through, they are going through, but those who do not have the muscle to withstand are those who are going. But normally, it may not be fair when a country that we've gotten all the resources will just leave with these excuses. But then, if multinationals seek confidence in your economy, whatever you told them and that attracted them to come, you have to be consistent with that. That you may not also bring investors, giving them all the exemptions, giving them all the incentives and the attractions, and when they come, then you start keeping piling this and taxes upon them. Then, of course, the confidence that they have will wane out. I think this is what have happened to some of these companies. But me, my major preoccupation is how we can also concentrate and find way to motivate and enhance on the operations of the locals, trying everything possible to hand over the commanding highs to the indigents, so that when such of this some of these things happen, we definitely are not going to fold up and then leave the country, whether it will collapse or not. And that is where my drift is, that we should be able to concentrate. Otherwise, they have the right to come in, they have the right to move up, depending on the indicators. If the indicators are right, most of them stay. If the indicators, even there are some countries and there are companies which have not actually folded up, but they are here. But if they have companies in Cote d'Ivoire, companies in Nigeria, they tend to shift most of their production to these countries.
Right.
That's why you see Unilever, if they compare the cost of doing business here, most of their things are now being produced in Nigeria, and people, some of the traders travel to Nigeria to buy the same things that otherwise the Unilever here could have even served them. They go to Nigeria and buy it at a cheaper price to come and sell here.
Right.
So the onus lies on us to make everything, to make our country even more competitive and reduce the cost of doing business here, and then unnecessary taxation that impedes the growth of businesses, that suppresses productivity, and all that should be looked at.
Doc, what's your thoughts briefly? I want to just find out before we wrap up with you on this note. When you talk about unnecessary taxation, what specifically are you making reference to? I want to know specifically the context of unnecessary taxation.
No, okay, let me put it. Sometimes they might put it in nuisance taxes. I hope you understand.
Absolutely.
I hope it's the same thing that I'm also talking about. This government itself, when it came, recognized that excessive taxation impedes productivity. So they said that we are moving away from taxation to production. I hope you know that. And then they tried to remove most of these nuisance taxes during year 2017 to 2020 thereabout. And then when the country started having problems with the economy and all that, most of the taxes have been trickled in, even in folds, more than what it used to exist. That's what I'm saying, nuisance taxes.
Right.
So if these things come more and all that, then you expect that a company that cannot operate under such an environment and maybe compared to where the environment that is coming from can become uncomfortable, and then such movement occurs.
Right.
But then also, let us also dissect the operations of some of these companies, because if you take this French bank and all that, you see that even in COVID and all these problems, banking industry has been very successful. So their exit might not be the profitability or otherwise. It might be for other reasons. I know that they are also moving from another country. So it could be that maybe they want to leave maybe Africa or some of sort. And then also, in the past, we have also said that most times they exit when they have exhausted their exemptions and all that. You know, they have exemptions for about 5 years and all that. Let's sit down and dissect those things all and put it together.
Absolutely.
And then compare the year-on exit of these companies and see and make a scientific analysis on to see what actually pushes them out at this time. All right.
I think that point is well made, and we are exceptionally grateful for the clarity. But in recent times, or rather for a very long while now, we have had government communication outfit and officialdom saying that the twin disaster of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian-Ukraine war can be squarely blamed for, the economic crisis that we have that have actually triggered some of this. I want to pick your thoughts on that, but let's go to 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏, who is the General Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, who joins us here in studio. Good afternoon, Sam. It's good to have you.
Good afternoon. Right.
Are you happy about the development, or you think that it's actually an opportunity for Ghanaian businesses to also fester and, as it were, explore the opening that has been created?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. But if you look at the situation as it is now, one will ask what exactly is happening. But then it wouldn't be one day event that has led us into where we are. You could see that from the past 5 years coming down to this year, we realized that things were not good, and therefore most economists and then ourselves in the trade, looking at the kind of policies that government was introducing, we were quick to inform government that this would be a big problem going forward. So therefore, if we need to have a continuous success in trade, then obviously what we need to do is to continue the path that they themselves have set. Be it in 2017, what we saw, as Dr. Obin said, 2017, we saw a reversal of some taxes, and therefore more people were able to do business, and the compliance level, if it comes to taxation and the payment of taxes and duties, were very high. Unfortunately, as I said, looking at the past 5 years, the taxes that has come in to play, some of them you see them in in 2 folds and in 3 folds, depending on what service that you are providing. So we said, no, we can't have a system where when you buy one thing, so many taxes are
imposed on that particular item.
Services. So therefore, we should reverse some of the levies, reverse some of the duties, reverse some of the taxes, so that at least we'll be more competitive. Government will tell you that they want to safeguard the local industries that we have, so they need to be in business and produce.
Right.
True. We need to ensure that the investment in this country succeed. But how do we do it? The how is what we have been saying all this while. And then the way you are going, or you are bringing in the policies, we say you cannot tax them out of what they can pay.
Right.
Because anything that you bring on board in terms of taxation is the individual Ghanaian who is paying. So let us look at it. Because when you bring me 40% of duty or taxes, and you ask me to impose on the way I do my business and charge, who am I charging?
Of course,
it's you that
consumer.
I'm charging.
Exactly.
So it will not be then, it will get to a point where you cannot pay. And once you cannot pay, it means that I'm also going to suffer the consequences. So we say, let us be where we are. Let us look at all the taxes and the service charges that we have on board. Because every government institution has its own charges. And any time that they want to go up in terms of levies over the years, every year, when you are paying 40 cedis, they can go up to 200%, especially the metropolitan authorities. Their services goes up in a way that you don't understand.
Right.
So we say, this is not the way to go. Now, if we come back to the level where we say business is not being attractive anymore, we ourselves, we have said Ghana is the gateway to Africa. So therefore, any other business that you bring into the country, this is the best and the preferred destination to put your money. So how do we do it? As the money comes in and the people put up their investment, from what they saw outside the gates of Ghana, when they come in, it becomes a total ball game together.
Different story
so
altogether.
we say, how do these people survive? As he said, some companies are looking at the investments on the ground. Do I fold up in times like this? Or what do I do? Do I relocate? Most of them looking at the facilities that they have on the ground, it will be very difficult for them to move. So what they are doing is to move some of their investment to other countries where the environment there is more favorable. Ghana, we are blessed with peaceful environments, but if it comes to economic policies, we are lacking. So look at the other countries around us, where it's more stable in terms of economic factors, and then let me go. So they shift part of their investment to these countries.
Right.
As they are doing it, when that place becomes more favorable, and Ghana becomes more expensive in terms of doing business, then eventually what happens is that everything will be shut down within Ghana and then moved into these areas. And once they go there, what it means is that they will be producing and our people will go there, buy and bring them back into this country to sell. The opposite. But that shouldn't be. Because the traders, everybody want to bring in something to sell. What is being produced in this country, we should look at it this way. We protect
in 1 minute
those interests for them to be able to produce and sell.
Right.
Now, you are producing at a cost that you cannot even be more competitive in the market. So what do? These traders, seeing that they cannot buy from the made in Ghana product, goes across the borders as far back as Nigeria, Kenya, Senegal, and other places to bring them in. You see, so as they're bringing them in, your local investor is the one suffering the consequences because the cost of production is so high. Why should we be here and then people will go and bring in something like Malta Guinness, Hollandia, Coca-Cola from Nigeria, from Morocco, from other places, or South Africa, and then bringing them into Ghana, where we also have the same facilities that we are producing in this country. Right. But the cost of production and the taxes that they are paying, they can't be competitive. Yeah. So if there's anything to go by, we need to look at what is happening on the ground and how can we salvage the situation? Because you cannot produce here and then allow other people to bring in those products from other sources, where even crossing so many miles into your territory, they are still cheaper. Paying their duty, they are still cheaper than those that are being produced here. This is what we are talking about.
Exactly.
So when they are facing these challenges, obviously what will happen is that let us shift or move our investment out of this
elsewhere.
country.
That is comparatively, I beg your pardon, more convenient. I think the point that has been made around the table is quite straightforward and obvious. All the panelists who have engaged so far have effectively amplified the case that our current business or economic climate is not the best, reason for which there ought to be some as it were adjustments in that regard. You just heard there 𝗟𝗵𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗏𝗘 agrees, the General Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association. Earlier we were listening to Dr. 𝗟𝗵𝗏𝗘, who is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, and of course coming through with perspectives that extend outside of our jurisdiction is 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 who is a international policy analyst. I must say, we're taking a breather. When we come back, we're going to look at the interplay, the nexus between these developments and COVID-19, the Russia-Ukraine war, and of course, we're going to propose absolute solutions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Nyansa ashese 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗏𝗘. Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them. Matthew chapter 19 verse 14. Oh yes, let the little children join hands with WTV every Sunday for a special children's service with the Methodist Church Ghana at 10 a.m. with repeat at 2 p.m. on WTV and Facebook. Nyansa ashese 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗏𝗘. Wesleyan Television, reaching out to the world.
Praise God, praise God. Christ in tea, you respond, yeah, addition. I'm excited to announce to you, friends in the Lord, are you seeking for a platform where you can pray? Open baby up a soul bomb pie. Now ninyami edi in kitahon. Bibi chiroso. And I'm na the same kum. And you're coming home. Let's go into the prayer room on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. to meet seasoned ministers of God that God has raised to impact your life. Remember, John Wesley said, I have too much to do, therefore I spend several hours in prayer in able to do it. Rachel said, that is why we are calling upon you. Meet myself, Reverend 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, and the Evangelism Mission Renewal Directorate as we lead you into the prayer room where we encounter Christ. And I believe your life will never be the same. Call your friends or loved ones every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. where we will encounter Christ. God bless you. See you on our screens on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. God bless you.
We pray that each and every one of us.
Thanks for your patience. You're still here with us on WTV. Don't forget that we're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as well. This afternoon, we are discussing a very important issue because it goes to the heart of the economy. Some foreign establishments in Ghana in recent times have been exiting our local jurisdiction, and the impact have not been very, I guess it were, conducive. You know, the local business community is concerned, employers are concerned, employees, families, and the entirety of the populace is alarmed. And that is why this afternoon we are looking at why it is happening that way, and then of course we're going to propose, you know, solutions to some of these problems. Now, I earlier did say that government communication and officialdom has often, attributed the current economic crisis that is connected, of course, to this development, to the Russian-Ukraine war, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. And Danny, if you're still with us, I believe, of course, you're still connected. Really, the current economic crisis that we have in Ghana, which, of course, explains some of these developments, would you say that the externalities of COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, the Russia-Ukraine war, can be implicated in any way from where you sit?
All right. I think this is a very interesting question because we've had this rhetoric on social media, on the corridors of political discourse for so long. But I'm going to say this. We cannot continue to internationalize our local problems because there's no international solutions coming to save us. And so what this means is that even though COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war did play a part, but it cannot and should not be the locus by which all our problems and our woes will be blamed upon. Because if you look at the country itself that was engaged in that war across here, I am very close to Russia here. In fact, I'm doing some work there.
Is it safe to ask if you are safe? I mean, that's just by the way, anyway.
Yes, it's very calm here. Nothing is happening, actually. The war is in Ukraine. So I'm pretty safe.
Right.
But the point I'm making is that in the European economy, Russia last year was one of the most impactful economies in Europe. In fact, the growth of Russian economy surpassed that of Germany, even under heavy sanctions across the length and breadth of their economy in terms of politics, in terms of every sector of their economy was sanctioned. But they, having been, prosecuting this war, managed their way out. But like I've already said, COVID was something that we could have, benefited from if we did the things right. In fact, we did well with managing the pandemic. But the political decisions and economic decisions that we took during COVID are the reasons why they blame everything on COVID. And like many have rehashed, COVID in itself should also be looked at in this way, vis-a-vis our economy. You see clearly that COVID was very dangerous and diabolical to people who were already sick, okay? People who had illnesses that were chronic, had severe symptoms. In fact, at some point, death.
Underlying conditions, right?
Yes, people who were young and energetic, people who were healthy. In fact, the risk-free age group was those within 20s to 30s and 40s. Very strong, energetic, and healthy people had nothing to worry about. The severest of COVID infection would just be a common flu to them. And so if our economy, if you use this analogy and subject it to our economy, major economies that were doing well was at least affected in a way, but their economies were not crippled like ours. So it tells you that our economy was already sick, in quotes. And that is why COVID sent us to the ICU. And so we cannot continue to internationalize our problems. For this thing that we've heard today that the bank is not leaving, they are leaving other African countries. If you look at the political discourse around it, people have already said that, oh, this is happening everywhere in the world and it is not anything peculiar to a Ghanaian economy. That is internationalizing our local problems. But the most important thing is that if you look at it from the policy perspective, where I'm coming from, you are not going to get any international solutions to your local problems. And so we must begin to appreciate our matters domestically and look at it within our context. Even though COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war played a part, it is not something for us to write on and forget all the other indicators that has landed us in this situation. Because you can talk about spending, and especially we are also in an election year. And when these processes begin to reach a crescendo, probably in June or July, you are probably going to see how the expenditure of these political parties, especially the ruling government, is going to be on the ascendancy, because the politicians will do anything to win power. And if we spend heavily like we did in 2020, there's going to be more uncertainties in the year 2025.
Right. That point is well made. And so that was 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘, who, of course, is rubbishing the claim that the Russian Russian-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 pandemic literally has led us here. Dr. Joseph Obing, do you share in that sentiment, or you rather want to kite another angle?
No. I hope you listen to him well, and that he also accepted the fact that it had some effect on the economy.
Absolutely,
but
he did. But
I think the point he's emphasizing is that we do not have to overdwell in those two events. Because what is the essence?
Permit me to put this. Doc, permit me to then put this question to you. If you were to quantify in percentages, I mean, out of 100, to what extent would you say that that twin disaster affected our economy? Reason for which we are having some of these conversations at this point.
I know it had some effect, and it is obvious the whole world were affected with the effect. But to put a percentage, I don't think I'm scientific enough to put that percentage. But
one out of 10, Doc. One out of 10. If you were to do one out of 10.
To a certain point, you know that everybody was very scared about the effects of the COVID. But for now, it's a thing of the past. I hope we all know that. So we do not have to overdwell in those to establish our points. We have to make sure that we do everything to solve and navigate our economic problems. And that's what our focus is. But for us to dwell in the past is not even helping those who make those assertions. They should look forward and embrace the situation, whatever we find ourselves now, and solve our problems for us. But I think that if there's a fight between two nations and you are not even in the same geographical area and this thing affects you, then the whole of Africa, those countries who were using this as a leverage or something, should not be proud of ourselves. Because it shouldn't be said that our destiny.
Well, I think we are having a connection challenge with Dr. Joseph Obing, but hopefully we'll get him back soon. Doc, do we have you? Are you with us now?
Yeah. There was a short interruption, disruption in the power, right, as you can see, and so it is now back. But what I'm saying is that our destiny should not be tied to other nations, and that. Sometimes, if those things is being said, it doesn't make me comfortable at all. Because our destiny should not be tied to another country in another geographical part of the world.
Right.
And so, I think we are overdwelling on that. Definitely, it has gotten effect. You know, sometimes even speculations give a great deal of effect for the whole world. And then a fight between two nations, even the fight between Israel and then Iran recently fueled speculations and caused some ripples in the world. So nobody can say that it will not have some effect, but we do not have to overdwell in that. That's my point.
Right, that point is well made. Sagri, are we overdwelling or you stay in the balance?
We are. We're overdwelling our internal situation and disasters as we have seen over the Russia-Ukraine war and COVID. If you look at COVID, it was a worldwide phenomenon.
Right.
You have it in Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, which other countries?
Everywhere, basically. I mean,
everywhere.
Essentially.
Yeah. So I intentionally mentioned these countries. Because if you look at how they've been able to position themselves and rebuild their country. Nobody is making reference to COVID. Nobody is making reference to Russia-Ukraine war. If our economy is tied to Russia, and therefore whatever that we are bringing in terms of raw material, health, medications and other things, and Russia is having a problem, and so therefore they cannot export to us, then you say there's a challenge there. But I don't see where these things affect us. Egypt is doing well. All the countries that I've mentioned, they're also doing well in terms of the aftermath of this COVID. In the whole world, which other country can you mention apart from Ghana who is charging COVID tax? COVID came without informing anyone that I am coming.
But maybe those taxes are, could be justified because during the period of the pandemic, government, embarked on a number of...
Ghana was forgiving or giving money in terms of grants and forgiving some of debtors and other things. Close to $4 billion. Which other country had that? Where did the money go? Because of that, we are crying there's no money in the country. Within, we donated. As charitable as we are, we give to government and give to other people. My organization, in conjunction with Food for All Africa, every day distributed 2,500 packs of food.
During the pandemic?
During the pandemic, for 3 good months. Every day, single day. 2,500 food packs.
For 3 months?
For 3 months. Daily.
Wow.
You understand? We donated to government in terms of cash. Not our organization.
Are you able to disclose the amount involved?
No. But we did. Our members did that. The Lebanese community, those who have business in this country, donated, and the news were outside there. So many things came in as charitable for Ghana. In other countries, they could not raise internal money to do that. But those countries are even ahead of us today.
And we are still lamenting.
You see, so if we compare ourselves to these countries or still lamenting this Russia, Ukraine, and COVID, and we are not finding solution to the problems that we are going through, then obviously other people will come in like World Bank, IMF, come and dictate to us as to how we should run our economy.
Absolutely.
Because we are not in charge.
Okay.
You see,
right.
So we need to find solutions to our problem. We can, and we need to do it. But unfortunately, I see it as lack of commitment in ensuring that this country gets to where it's supposed to get. Because if you look at 2016, every campaign that was done in terms of MPP, NDC, CPP and all that, everybody was trying to win power. But then the good one was the one that the power was given to, which is the current administration.
Absolutely.
You understand? Because he said, when I come, money will be in your pockets,
we'll move from
employment will move, go on, productive, and cost of borrowing will be down because the anticipations will come there. So many things were said, and we realized that it makes sense to us. So let us give us.
Does it still make sense now?
For now, look at the economy now, and you yourself determine what has happened. You understand? So we cannot still be there and say that because of other countries' problems, Ghana is also going through the same challenges. The kind of policies that we put in place is what will guide us through the future. And that is what we are facing now. Because we set up bad policies that will not inure to our benefit.
Absolutely.
So we said, let us go back and see what we have put in place that is not good. This has nothing to do with IMF. IMF is telling us that we should put our priority right to make sure that we reap the best out of it. And we've taken it the other way by taxing our own people out of taxation. Because when the people can't pay anymore, what else are you going to do? You understand? So, therefore, it has come to the time where government will need to expand the employment base by creating the enabling environment for the private sector to take charge.
Right.
Government, you cannot be in competition with the private sector.
Absolutely.
Take yourself out and deal with the health sector, the roads, the hospitals, the schools, water, and other utilities that we can talk about. Deal with these ones and let us create the environment for greater employment for people to grow. Be able to
right. That point again is well made. Dr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗦𝗊, I'm coming to you, and this will be, I'm very sure, my very last encounter with you this afternoon. And so clearly across the table, it has been established that yes, indeed, our business climate is poor, our economic conditions are not exactly favorable, and all of those have contributed to the situations that we find ourselves in. What would you recommend as two policy propositions to, as it were, reinvent the wheel and redefine the narrative? Two solutions from your end, then I'll come to Abdul, and then I'll return to Mr. Agri, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah, so you see the all the indicators that make economic businesses thrive are all the three pillars that make economic thrive. That's the exchange rate, the inflation, and the cost of borrowing. That's have all broken down, and that's we have to be able to fix it. Just recently, the indicators were getting better, and now you see that it has also gone up again because of the effect of the exchange rate. The exchange rate, I've given a caution that we should be careful, and that the forest crisis in Nigeria shouldn't trickle down to Ghana. And I'm telling you, this particular depreciation that we are having is as a result of the effect, the negative effect of the forest crisis in Nigeria. They come here and buy it all. So we should find a solution to solve that, and then stabilize the currency, local currency. If you're able to do that, then of course, because it is the main push effect for the other indicators to also go up. Inflation in particular. When inflation, we are talking about exit of our foreign companies. Inflation is such a monster that it eats into the purchasing power of the consuming public. So if we have opened a firm and then the consuming public is not able to patronize it, in the case of game and other companies that we are talking about, what will be the end effect? The person is not able to sell his wares, then he have to depart. So we have to be able to solve, first and foremost, to stabilize our local currency. If we're able to do that, and here at this point in time, all that we can do is to fast track any workings around the third tranche of the World Bank loan. If it comes earlier, then it will be able to come and then sustain to push the stability that we are craving for, and that will trickle to other indicators. Yeah.
Right, grateful. Mo and Danny, your proposed solutions, two of them, I mean, in 2 minutes or 3 minutes at most, and we are done.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Doc rightly mentioned, but the point is that if you are going to be honest, we cannot keep banging our hopes on IMF and World Bank. So assuming we didn't have an agreement with the IMF or World Bank, where would we have been? So if you look at it from the short term, medium term, and long term, in the short term, I think we cannot do anything but to pray and fast currently. But if you look at it from the medium term perspective, what we need to do is to find a way to restore investor confidence if we're looking at the multinational corporations perspective. And that is to find a way to reduce the operational cost of business in Ghana. And that is to say that we need to find a way, however possible, to engage in incentives, tax cuts, and what have you. But that is another perspective because we are under an IMF program and our options are very limited as to the things that we can do. So if you look at it from that perspective too, that still means that we still have to fast and pray. But if you look at it from the long term, what we can do, and which I always prescribed that we need to be thinking forward in the long term and not short-term quick measures, because we are in an election year and we are not interested in any quick fix solutions that would have dire consequences come 2025. We should be looking at long-term solutions to our problems. And that is why I'm proposing that, look, we need to create an enabling environment for local businesses to thrive. We need to find a way to cushion the consuming public to be able to earn more, to be able to spend more. Any person within the business industry is not really interested in whether I'm raking in profits in millions or whatever daily. The most important thing is that the consuming public is always and constantly engaging with your business. But if they cannot buy, then the business will shut down. And so we should find a way to create an enabling environment for the common Ghanaian to be able to have a purchasing power that would help. If you look at it from the family perspective, look, the cost of everything is high currently because buying basic goods, necessities like toiletries, oil for cooking, rice, and what have you, that is just for basic amenities to live on, is very high. And so how is somebody who is into heavy investments, we are talking about cargo shipments, we are talking about the things that Doc is involved in, we are talking about billions. And if you look at the daily wage of Ghanaians, I mean, a lot of people are below the poverty line. And that is what we should be tackling in the area of agriculture, business, and mining. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are grateful. Mr. Agri, actually, you have enumerated a number of solutions again already, but if you could wrap all in 30 seconds, then we will call it a show.
I think what we need to do to put Ghana back on track is for government to reduce its expenditure and create the necessary environment for businesses to come in. Looking at where we are now, we'll say that, what can we do within this short period? But governance is always a continuous thing, and therefore, whatever decision that we take today, people will still have confidence going forward. So we need to do that, and then look at the kind of taxes that we have in this country. And then those that are, we call the nuisance taxes that are not inuring to our benefit, we take it out. And then we should also implement policies that will increase employment. Because that is the only way government can get the money that they want. So if employment is going down, then we have a big problem. So therefore, we need to put in place, give the right policies. Those that are bad, we should go back and see which ones are not good, which ones are right. We take the bad ones out and then ensure that the ones that we can better, let us better them. And then we move forward as a country. Because as it is now, things are not good. And it's not good the way things are going within the international community. It will affect us in a way, but we need to reverse the trend.
By all means, gentlemen, we are grateful for your time. It's been a pleasure having all of you. And of course, your thoughts have been well amplified and articulated. But just before we go, let me just run us through these comments coming from social media. How can you say the Russian-Ukraine war has affected Ghana? These government are jokers. That's coming from Ramafosin. I got one that says that great submissions there, Abdul. And 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗦𝗁 is also excited about the conversation that we have had this afternoon. But more importantly, I think the solutions have been proposed, and moving forward, we should be articulating them more. But this is just, by the way, because we're talking about international development tonight. If you're a lover of football, don't forget that it's an international fixture that all of us are following. Maybe when we come here on Friday, we will want to look at it briefly. That is just by the way. It's been a pleasure serving you. My name is Paa Kwesi Schandorf, and we'll meet again Friday, same time. Bye-bye.
Sure.